Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. So in this video, we are going to explore about servers in the cloud simply. Okay, servers in the cloud. So in our daily life, in our real-time experience, so we are using servers or laptops, desktops, right? For our maybe for our learning purpose, maybe for project purpose, maybe if it is in the organization, maybe for their project works or their company works, they will use the systems. So when we are discussing about cloud computing, what we are saying, everything, whatever the resources required to run the digital applications, those resources we will get from AWS cloud. AWS cloud, right? So in that sense, with that, what we understood, even the servers also we will get from the AWS cloud. So in this video, we will see how we can create the server, how to interact with it, even how to deploy the web application also. Okay, so what we are going to see, we are going to see how we can actually connect, launch the server, what is EC2 servers, everything we will understand. Okay, what is EC2, everything we will understand, and how we can actually launch the EC2, we can understand that. How to launch EC2 instance or EC2 server. In the AWS, we call server as an instance. EC2 instance is nothing but server, virtual server in the cloud. Okay, so how we can connect, and in the last we will see even how to deploy a website application or how to deploy a website in the AWS on EC2 instance. Okay, we will see that how we can deploy the website. So for that, let's say this was my illustration for the networking actually. So to create the server or to launch the server and to deploy something inside that server, first of all, what we required, network, right? Network should be established and internet connection should be there. For that, in the AWS, we should create our own VPC called virtual private cloud. Okay, we should create our VPC, and there are some of the steps how to establish the network in the AWS. So if you already familiar with it, that's fine. Otherwise, there is a video in our YouTube channel. You can go there. I mean, there is a video on the how to create VPC and everything. So you need to perform all the steps there. So you need to create the VPC, create the subnet, create route table, associate subnet with route table, create the internet gateway for internet connection, and you should create. I mean, you should attach the internet gateway to the VPC. Then we should add the internet gateway in the route table routes. We should create this. I mean, till this point, adding the internet gateway to the route table routes, till this point the network setup will be completed. So if you're already familiar with it, if you already create the network, that is fine. Otherwise, if you want to know how to create all this, you can go through our previous videos. Okay, so in my account I already done with all the steps, so I'm going to use the same network. Okay, so I already done, I mean, created a network called demo VPC, demo network in my account. So I will use the same network. So for now, what are the steps pending? So once we are done with the network creation, so if you see here, all this network creation has been done. Let's say, okay, so this is the network which we already done. Okay, I'm already having the network required for my server or for my project. So now my requirement is to simply launch or create the server inside that network. Inside the network, what I'm going to do, I have to create the server or launch the server. Launch the server. I have to launch the server inside that. Okay. And after that, we need to connect to the server, and our requirement is to deploy the website. Our requirement is to deploy the website, right? So for that, we need to install some kind of web services. Okay, to run the web applications in a server, we need to install the web services. Okay, so we can install Apache. Okay, Apache is a web service which is used to deploy the web applications in the Linux systems. Okay, in the servers. Okay, Apache or Nginx, so many are there. Okay, so in the Linux, we call this web service as a Apache, even HTTPD also, HTTPD. So in the Linux, we are going to have flavors. Okay, I mean, how we are having in the Windows, right? Windows 8, Windows 7, something like that. In the Linux, we are going to have Red Hat family and Debian family. Okay, in the Debian family, we call it as Apache. In the Red Hat family, we call it as a HTTPD, but both are same. Names different, both are same. Both are web services which will use it to deploy the web application. That's it. Okay. So I'm not sure how many of you are already familiar with the operating systems. Just to, I mean, make you at least have some basic idea, I'm trying to introduce the concept of OS also, or the servers also. Okay, so majorly we have two kind of OS, two kind of operating. Majorly we have two kind of operating systems. Okay, majorly we have two kind of operating systems when it comes to servers. Okay, one is Windows, one is Linux. Even we do have the Mac also, but yeah, majorly we will use these both, right? Windows and Linux. Okay, so maybe we all are using Windows. Maybe we all are using Windows in our servers. Maybe we all are using Windows in our laptops or in our servers. But when it comes to real-time projects, when it comes to organizations, when it comes to companies, for the project, real-time projects, we will use Linux servers. Okay, mostly 90 to 95% we will use Linux servers only, because Linux server, first thing is Linux servers are very secured, and we can interact to the Linux servers using commands only. Okay, using commands only. How we are dealing with the Windows servers, we are going to have, so I mean, like this, we are going to have all the visual based interfaces. If you want to open the file, you can click on this file manager, you can create the folder like this, right? But if you want to do anything in the Linux server, we should be using commands only. That's why it's somewhat secured compared to Windows, and it's a lightweight. It's a lightweight OS. Okay, and it's very much secured. That's why in the real time production, for production workloads, companies will prefer Linux servers only. Okay, so now we are also going to install or create the Linux server in the AWS. Okay, let us see that. So as we already have the network, simply I am going to create the EC2 server, deploy the website in it. Okay, and before going to jumping into it, however, we are discussing about the AWS. I mean, we are using the AWS cloud for our resources, right? So even for EC2 server also, we're going to use the same. So let us understand something, some theoretical about it. So let's say first we have virtualization. Virtualization concept is nothing but simply we have one hardware device. We have one hardware device. You have your laptop or your system in front of you. So in that, Windows OS is installed already, right? Windows OS is installed. But for this practical, for some of the practical, maybe you want to use Linux OS. Linux OS. You don't know cloud, you don't know anything. So using virtualization concept, there are some softwares related to virtualization. So using virtualization concept, what you can do on the single instance, on the single hardware device, you can use multiple OS. You can install multiple OS. You can use multiple softwares. Okay, that is called virtualization. On the single hardware device, we can run multiple softwares, multiple OS. Okay, even in the backend of the AWS also, same process they will follow. Same process they will follow. Okay, right. So if you see next, I mean, whenever we are choosing any of the resources in the AWS, based on the use case, we will select, right? When it comes to servers, these are the categories we have. These are the types of servers we have in the AWS. First one is general purpose, and we have compute optimized, we have memory optimized, and we have storage optimized. Okay, so let's quickly understand what are all these. So general purpose means simply all these categories, all these types are talking about the configuration when you create configuration which you are going to get when you create the server, right? See, even in the real time also, when we are purchasing the laptop, when we are purchasing any server, what we will do, we will go with the required configuration first, right? What is the configuration we required? It means what is the CPU core you required, what is the RAM size you required, what is the hard disk size you required, what is the OS you want to go with. So that kind of details will be there. So in the same way, here in the categorization, same will be defined. General purpose means you will get the balanced configuration. So you will get balanced configuration of CPU, RAM, and everything. Everything will be in the balance. No one, nothing will be less, nothing will be more. Okay. And in the compute optimized, when you say compute, it's related to CPU. Okay. So you will get more CPU capacity compared to memory if you go with compute optimized. Okay. And it is suitable for some kind of gaming purpose, video encoding, right? Batch kind of jobs you are executing, right? For gaming purpose servers, it requires more processing speed actually. Okay, for that purpose, you will go with this. You can go with this compute optimized. And next we have memory optimized. Memory optimized means simply you will get more memory, more RAM compared to CPU if you go with this server. If you required more memory for your use case, if your use case is something like executing some cache memory kind of projects. Let's say, what do you mean by cache memory? So whenever we're accessing any website, that request will goes to that server website, website database in the backend, right? That is for one first time. If you are going for the second time, what it will do, it will store the cache in your browser itself or somewhere in the cache server. So it will not go to all the way to the database every time. So if it is having the related information in the cache server based on your previous traffic or previous communications, it will provide the information from the cache server itself. If you are running that kind of applications, then you can go with the memory optimized. Next, we have storage optimized. Storage optimized is nothing but hard disk for your laptop simply. So in the AWS server also, in the EC2 also, you're going to have the hard disk, right? So if you required more storage, if you required more storage, then you can choose storage optimized. In this case, you are going to get more storage device, more storage capacity compared to memory and compute. Okay. And we do have some other categories also, but these four you should remember. These are important. Okay. General purpose means balanced configuration. Compute means more CPU capacity, and memory means more RAM or more memory capacity, and storage means more hard disk or more storage to store the huge data or to run the database on top of that server. Okay. That is for storage optimized. Okay, so these are the differences. Even we can see these differences from the AWS official documentation also. Let me go there. If you go to the Google and type AWS EC2 uh, instance types, do we have that? Yes, instance types. If you go to the EC2 instance types, yes, in this page you can see here, right? The left side we have general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, right? Even some other also there. That is fine. So you see here, for every purpose in the AWS, how they are differentiating it. We should understand this before launching the server, because while launching the server, you should select this actually, which one you required. In the real time, there is a lot many activity before selecting the server, right? Based on the requirement, based on the project requirement, you should be able to understand which server you required, which type of service you required. Okay. Okay. So if you go to the general purpose, you can see here some kind of letters, numbers are there, right? So T2, T series are there, M series are there. So how we are having the series in our personal laptops. Let's say you are getting Windows laptop, you're going to have some kind of series, right? If it's a HP server, HP 7, something like that, series will be there for every server, every laptop, right? Right. In the same way here also they are using the series. Yes, that's it. That's AWS wish. So what is the name they want to put? They can put for their EC2 series, right? So in the general purpose, you will get M series and T series. And if you go to compute optimized, you will say C series, C. All are starting with C. And if you go to memory, you can see R and X. Okay. If you go to storage, you can see L and I, D, something like that. Okay. So let us understand in deeply what exactly it is saying. So if you go to general purpose, let us select anyone M5. Let me select M5 series. Okay, M5 series I'm selecting. If you see here, the instance size they mentioned, I mean, like this M5 X large or M5 2X large, like this. Okay, so if you observe here, let us deeply understand what exactly it is. So M is nothing but the series. M is nothing but the series. Okay, the series. T series, M series, C series we are seeing. So it is talking about the series. Next we have 5. M5 we have, and here we have M5N, M6 we have. So this is nothing but generation. In our real servers also, we are going to have I7, I6, I5, something like that generations, right? In the same way, it is the generation. 5, 6, 5D, 5Z, that is a generation. And next, after the dot, whatever we have, that is a size. So large, X large, 2X large. So when the size is increasing, the configuration which we are going to get is also increasing. If you see here, for M5 large, you are getting 2 CPUs, 8 GB of memory. And for X large, you are getting 4 CPU, 16 GB of memory. Like that. For 2X large, it is increasing. 8 CPU, 32 memory. That is a example. That is a example for this. Okay. And next, and as we discussed, general purpose will get with the balanced configuration, right? You are getting with balanced, right? Sorry, you're getting balanced configuration in between CPU and memory. If you go with compute optimized, let us see same C5. You see here, you're getting less memory and getting more CPU here. If you go with C5 too large, 8 CPU you're getting, but only 16 GB of memory. Here 16 CPU, only 32 GB of memory. Let us check in the memory optimized how it is. Memory optimize, just select any one of R5 I'm selecting. If you see here, R5 2X large, only 8 CPU but 64 GB memory you are getting. So like this, based on the category it will be. Okay, it's clear, right? Yeah, now let us see practically how we can actually launch the EC2 server or create the EC2 server in the AWS cloud, how we can deploy the website. Okay, I am inside my AWS account now. I already logged into the console, and as I mentioned, I already done with all the steps. Okay, VPC subnet, routable internet gateway, everything, and associated with, I mean, associated each other. Okay, and I need to now create the server. I need to connect to the server and to deploy it. So I'm going to use the same network. So in from the EC2 console, in the search box you can type EC2, and if you are able to see here also, you can go from here also, from recently visited. Okay, maybe you people may not be able to see it, right, as you are not practicing. I mean, it's a new account, so that's why I'm going from here. EC2, now we are in the EC2 dashboard. You can click on instances. Okay, you can click on instances. So now just click on launch instance, and as we all know, before doing anything we should be checking the region. Okay, and my VPC, everything was established, everything was set up in the North Virginia region. So I'm creating my server also in the North Virginia region. Okay, click on launch instance from here. Okay, after clicking on launch instance, let us deeply discuss what all the options we are going to have. Okay, first we need to give the name to our server. Okay, give the name to our server. So I am writing it as demo web server. I'm writing it as demo web server. Okay, after that, something you're seeing called AMI, Amazon Machine Image. You can see here, right? Amazon Machine Image. Okay, we call it as AMI. We call it as AMI. Okay, AMI is nothing but, see, whenever we are installing OS into our laptops. So once we purchase a laptop, either we will ask shopkeeper to install the OS, or if we know, we will only install the OS using some kind of pen hardware device, right? Pen drive or USB or hard disk, like that, right? So inside that, what is going to be there exactly? The image of the software which is required to boot your system, boot your laptop. In the same way here, AMI also, AMI is nothing but it's an image of the software which is required to boot the EC2 server, which is required to boot the EC2 server. That is what image. And after that, when I say you are going to have the image inside that pen drive, so what kind of image? So if you want Windows 10, you are going to have the Windows 10 image. If you want Windows 7, you will install the Windows 7 image. If you want Windows 11, Windows 11 image. Right? In the same way here, in the AWS, we are going to have the different AMIs. So if you want Amazon Linux, so these are the Linux or Windows we should select here. Okay. So Amazon Linux is nothing but, in the Linux we are going to have so many flavors actually: Red Hat, Ubuntu, Debian, every some, I mean, some different OS flavors are there. So even from the AWS side also we have Amazon Linux. It is their own Linux. Okay, if you want Amazon Linux, you can select this. If you want Ubuntu, you can select this. If you want Windows, you can select this. Like that. Okay, like that we have so many different. If you have Red Hat, you can use this. Okay, and if you want Mac OS also, you can go with this. But for now, let us go with Amazon Linux. And whenever you are working in the AWS free tier for your learning purpose, you should always make sure you are using the free tier resources only, because all the resources, all the service types are not included in the free tier. We should be careful while creating any service. So here in the AMI, you can see here it's showing as free tier eligible. If you click on this drop down, you can see we have so many AMIs for this Amazon Linux. Okay, but only first two, you can see here, first two are for free tier eligible. Okay, maybe in the last one we have one thing, yeah, but that's the old one. Yeah, first two are eligible for free tier, remaining all are not eligible. If you select that AMI, AWS will going to charge you, you will get charged. Okay, let us go with the latest one, Amazon Linux 2023 AMI, first one only. It is already selected default, let it as it is. Okay, that's it. And next we have, and you can see here with that AMI what all you're getting. You are getting 64-bit architecture. Okay, AMI ID is there, and username for every server, right? So how we are having the username in our users in our Windows systems, right? So in Windows systems, so maybe you know or may not know, but we do have the users actually. So we are logging with, right? We are creating the user and we are logging with our username and password to the our Windows server. In the same way, in the Linux also we do have the server. So for Linux, for AWS Linux, the by default user is EC2 user static. We can create multiple users also, but yeah, the default user is EC2 user. If the first time you want to log in, you should use this username. Okay, that's it. And next we have instance types. So instance type, just now we discussed, right? What is the instance type you required? Okay. So for the learning purpose, we can go with T series. T series comes under general purpose only. The general purpose you can see here. T2 we have, right? Right. So these are the T2. So again, in the instance types also, you're not going to get all the services for in the free tier. So only T2.micro is free tier eligible. You can see here only T2.micro. If you scroll down, you can check. So none of these are eligible in the free tier. Okay, only T2.micro is eligible for free tier. So you should check. You should select T2.micro only. Okay, otherwise you will get charged. And next, we need to create one key pair. Key pair is nothing but simply it's a key. It is a key file which is used to connect to this EC2 server. Once after creating the server, if you want to connect to the server, you should have this key file. Okay. So if you have already existing files, you can select that. But for now, to showcase you, I am going to create the new key pair. Just you need to click on create new key pair here, and you need to give the name. You need to give the name to this key. Okay. Whatever the name you want, you can give that. Okay, that's it. Don't think about all other options. Demo workshop key. That's it. So here private key file format, you are seeing .pem and .ppk, right? So .pem is simply used to connect from any kind of SSH terminal. What are the SSH terminal? I will discuss that later. And next, to connect to the Linux servers, we can use something some platform called Putty also. Okay, that actually we need to install in our server if you want to connect use that. So if you are going with the Putty, then the file should be in the format of .ppk. Okay, but for now let us go with .pem only. .pem. Okay, you should give the key pair name and select. I mean rest everything as it is. Just click on create key pair. So when you click on create key pair, automatically key will download to your local folder. Okay, your local file manager. Let it be. Okay, so the key got created, and here also we should select the same key pair whatever we created just now. Demo workshop key, it is already selected. Okay, right. And next we have network settings. So network settings, as I mentioned, I already have predefined network in my account. So I already created the network, right? I followed all these steps. I created all of this. Okay. So if you are not created all of this, first please go to the previous video in the same playlist in the same channel. So there you can find how to create the VPC and how to create the subnets and everything. Okay. Once you complete with that setup, come here and you can create your server. Okay. Yeah. Here I'm selecting my networking components. So from VPC, I'm selecting my VPC, whichever I created. And subnet, I have only one subnet as of now in that VPC. So I'm selecting the same. And the auto asm public IP, yes, I need a public IP address because I want to connect to the server. And the moreover, now we are going to deploy the website, right? So website means nothing but it should be publicly available, right? We should be able to access that from the browser. So to access that website from the browser, you should have the public IP address. So if you enable this only, then only you will get the public IP address. Okay, so we should enable this auto assign public IP. Okay, then next we have security group. So for now, as we all know, security group is nothing but it's a firewall on top of EC2, so which will use it to define which traffic should come inside the EC2 instance and which traffic should go outside of EC2 instance. That will be defined using security group. Okay, so for now let it as it is, and just I'm creating the new security group. If you have existing security group, you can go with that, but for now I'm creating the new security group as I don't have any security group in my account maybe, and I want to give the name also. I'm changing the security group name here. Let me change that, it got stuck. Yeah, so I'm giving it as demo web SG. Okay, and description also, if you want to change, you can change. Otherwise, you can leave it as it is. SG or security group for web server. I'm writing something like this. Okay, and after this, next you can see here the inbound rule is 22 is enabled because we can connect to the to the Linux servers using SSH protocol. That SSH protocol we will run on 22 port number. That also we will discuss. Soon we will discuss. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And you can see here configure storage. So we are getting by default 8 GB storage here. So it means it's a hard disk. Okay. So in the free tier, we are eligible to use up to 30 GB, but we are not going to store anything that much, right? So that's why 8 GB is enough for us. So we are not changing anything. So you can see here we have done, what all we have steps we have followed to create the server. We should name the server. Then we should select the Amazon machine image, which is nothing but a software or OS, which OS you required, you should select that. And then instance type we should select. Ultimately T2.micro is eligible for filter, so we should go with T2.micro only. And next we should create the key pair, and we should select that because this is the key file which is going to use, we are going to use to connect to the EC2 server. Next, from the network settings, we should select our own network details. We should select our VPC or subnet which is created, and we should enable this auto assign public IP. Next, we are creating the security group, because using this security group only we are going to define which network should be allowed in and out from the from the EC2 server. Okay, and I named that security group, given the description, right? And everything is as it is. Left everything is as it is. And here, if you see the right side, number of instances is 1. Okay, so this is the power of AWS actually. Okay, if you want to create 10 servers at a time, just give 10 here, so it will create the 10 servers with the same configuration. Okay, if your requirement is that for this configuration, for the same requirement, if you require 10 servers, just give 10 and click on launch instance, it will launch the 10 servers. So just imagine, to establish in the same way in the real time, in the if you are purchasing physical server, physical laptops, and to install everything, and to, I mean, establish a network connection to everything, how much time it takes to you, and how much time it is taking to you in the cloud. Just within the matter of minutes you are able to do it, right? So that is how powerful it is. And moreover, you can see here the global accessibility. So now where we are actually creating our server, in the US, but where we are in the India, in some, I mean, in one district, right? In one corner district we are in the India, and we are creating the server in US. So if you want to really physically, you want to go there and you want to create your database and everything, how much cost effective it is, how much complex it is. But simply using the AWS, you are able to do this, right? Simply the concept of cloud computing is helping you here. So that's why it is very much important and useful. The organizations are now completely migrated to the cloud computing. For every kind of use case, they are using cloud only. Okay, that's it. So after selecting all these options, you can click on launch instance. Even before click on launch instance, you can see here the free tier information, right? So in the free tier first year, you can get 750 hours of free usage every month per T2.micro EC2 instance type. Okay, if you cross 750 hours, you will get charged, but based on this calculation, you can run one server 24 by 7 for 1 month. Okay, and after 1 month, again you will get restored with your usage limit. Okay, now click on launch instance. Instance is going to create. Our server is getting created. Let's wait for that. Yeah, successfully initiated the launch of instance. Just scroll down and click on view all instances. You can see the instances here. Just refresh. Your instance should come here. Yes. Demo web server. This is what our server, right? So it is getting initiated. You can see here status check saying as initialization. So whenever you're creating the EC2 server, what AWS will do in the backend, it will run two kind of checks. One is system check, I mean hardware check, one is software check. So if it is able to get the response from the server, then only it will showcase as something like system check is passed or the status check is passed. 2 by 2 status check passed. Otherwise, it will showcase as failed. Okay. So for that time, it will take some time for initialize it. So till that time, let us go to the details. What all we have. So if you see here, by selecting this server, in the details below, we have the details tab, right? In the details, you can see here, for every resource we are going to get one instance id, so sorry, one id. So this is the instance id, it means it's a server id, it will not change. Okay, after that we have the public IP address. I showed you, right? If you don't enable that auto assign public IP address, you will not get this IP address, public IP address, but it is required to connect to the server from the public, I mean from the outside. And also it is, if you see here open address, if you click on this, it will take you to the browser. So if you want to see any output from this server on the browser, you need the public IP address. Okay, and it is a private IP address. So private IP address is to connect to the server internally. It means in this same account, if any other server, okay, other servers want to connect to the server, they can communicate internally using private IP address. Okay, and the instance status is running, and you can see here you got the DNS also for private IP address. Okay, and for public IP, we did not receive a DNS. That I will show you why we did not receive. Where should we enable that? Okay, I will show you that option. For now, it is not there, and you can see what are the network options we received. Okay, the VPC ID and the subnet. right? Everything we are seeing here. AMID, what is the platform? Amazon Linux, and the Linux server we created. What is the launch time for it? Everything we are able to see here, right? And next one is security. So if you go to the security, okay, you can see what is the security group we assign to it. So you can see here security group and security group I demo web SG. This is only the security group which we created, right? So this is a security group. If you scroll down, you can see the inbound rules and outbound rules of that security group. So inbound rules is nothing but to define which traffic should allow inside the EC2 server, that we will mention here, right? And if you scroll down, the outbound rules, so which traffic should go outside of this traffic. So let us let us once discuss about security groups. So if it is done, let me connect to the EC2 instance and let us discuss about the security group later. Yeah, you can see here status check now, 2 by 2 checks passed. Okay, means system check and the software check both are done. So let us try to connect to this server first. Okay, so select in the server, just click on connect, click on connect. Here you have multiple options. So first option is EC2 instance connect. Okay, if you are going with this way, what you can do, just nothing you are going to do, just select EC2 instance connect. So username is same, right? EC2-user, we saw it while creating the server. So just click on connect. So what it will do, in the same browser, it will open a new tab, it will start the session, it will connect you to that server. So you don't require any key, you don't require any passwords, nothing. Okay, simply you can connect to this server in the browser itself, and you can perform your activity whatever you want, like this is one method. And next method, if some people may face issues with this, if that is the case, what you can do, you can connect using the SSH client. This is a SSH client. Okay, SSH client is nothing but to connect to the Linux servers, we will use the protocol called SSH. Okay, so if you want to connect in this way, you need SSH platform should be installed, SSH software should be installed in your system. Either you can use putty, you can use git. My preferred way, you should use git. Okay, to download that into your system, it is already available, that is fine. You can search here, in the search if you type git, it will come like this. You have the git bash, I have the git bash, right? If I don't have, I can download from the internet. So just go to Google. Here you can type git uh, install windows or git download windows something. So here the first one, downloads -git is there, right? This is the one which you should select. Just click on it. So here simply you can click on download for Windows. You can click on download for Windows. So you will get one installer file. So if you click on this, you will get one installer file. Okay, if you click on it, what you will get one installer file into your download folder. So what you can do, simply you need to double click on it. Once you are the file downloaded to your local system, you should double click on it, and you should simply click on next, install, finish. That's it. So git bash will get installed to your server. Okay, simply you need to download the file from the download for Windows here, and after that double click on that file. So it will start the installation process. You need to click on next, install, finish. That's it. So it will get downloaded. So after that, what you can do, while creating the server, we downloaded the key pair file, right? So that was downloaded to your file manager downloads folder. So let me go to my file manager in the downloads. Okay, you can see here I have this key, right? Demo workshop key. Okay, in this location, right click, and here I'm able to see something called open git bash. Here I should click on it. If it is Windows 11 something like that, you may not see directly like this. You may see in your options, view, show more options, something like that. If you click on show more options, there you may have this, you can see this open git bash here. Okay, so just click on open git bash here. Okay, because we should open the terminal in where the file is located, where the key file is located. Okay, it should not be in the downloads, wherever it is. If it is in another folder, you should open the git bash there. Okay, so wherever your key file is there, you should open the terminal there, and here you should execute this sh command. For example, they have given this command. Okay, they have given this command. If you clearly observe this command, what is there? So first is sh. So as I mentioned, we are using the sh method, so the command should start with sh and -i. After that, the key pair name in the in the brackets, it is the key pair name, right? In the colons, it is the key pair name, demo workshop key.pm. After that, space the username, EC2 hyphen user, the username, right? And after that, at the rate, the public IP address of the server, the public IP address of the server. You can see here, sh hyphen I, the key name. After that, username at the rate public IP address of the server. Let us verify what is the public IP address of the server. 54.165.2.133. It is same or not? Let us see. I'm going to the EC2 instances. Select the server. You can see 54.165.2.136. So it's the same, right? So let us execute that command. So in the Git terminal, I'm just clicking on enter. You can see it is asking for me to continue or not. Yes. Give yes. Give yes. That's it. Now I am connected to my server. Okay, you can see here EC2 user at the rate. It is a private IP again 10.0.130 it is showing. So let us verify it is the same or not. So if you go to the instance, yeah, private IP address you can see right 10.0.130. So we now connected to the server. So these are the two methods you can follow. So if you want to use the SH method, you can install the Git and you can follow this method. Otherwise, you can even follow here also. EC2 instance connect, but it's better to use the Git because I mean if you are going to use the Git in your real time, it will be helpful for you to get familiar. Okay, I mean Linux commands also you can execute from there simply. Okay, yeah. So for now what we have done from our steps, the network setup is done, and we learned what is EC2 and how to launch EC2 instances. So we have done, and we have connected to the internet, we have connected to the server, sorry, we have connected to the server. Till this we have done, and next we need to verify the internet. So because if you want to install anything, I told you right. So if you want to install or if you want to deploy the website application, you need to install the web service. So in our laptop, in our systems, what we will do if you want to deploy anything, or we will install the software set, we will install I mean we will install so many softwares. We will install maybe WhatsApp, we will install maybe some kind of software, we will install maybe some kind of applications into our systems, Adobe Acrobat, Word, PDF files. So something we will install. So in the same way, to install anything, what we required, internet we required. So let us see in our server internet is there or not. How we can see it in the Linux? In the Windows server, simply we'll go to the Google and we'll type www.google.com. If it is working, then fine. So in the here also we have a command called ping. Ping command is used to check the communication. Used to check the communication. So ping space www.google.com. Okay, just enter it. Okay, you are getting the response. You are getting the response. So this is what the response. Okay, if you are getting like this, it means okay, internet is working in your server. Okay, just do Control C. Click Control C. It will stop. Okay, let me clear this. So now till this point we are done. Till this point, verify internet. So internet is also working now. Internet is also working now in my server. So now what is the next step? How to deploy a website? How to deploy a website? Right. So let us now see how exactly we can deploy the website. How can we deploy the website? Okay, so I mean let us deploy the website. How we can do that? So as I mentioned here in the demonstration, to deploy the web application we need to install some kind of web service, HTTPD or Apache, right? So in this, let as it say Amazon Linux, it will follow the Red Hat flavor, so we call it as HTTPD here. So how to install that? Okay, let us first execute this command, sudo sudo space sudo space su. So as I mentioned in the Linux server also, we are going to have the users, right? So how we are going to have the in our systems, Windows systems, normal user and root user or admin user will be there, right? In the Linux, we are going to have the root user. So if you want to execute, I mean, some commands may be restricted to the normal users. That's why I want to switch to the root user. So using this command, you can go to the root user. So sudo space su nothing but simply switch user. That's it. It's a full form. Okay. So if you enter this, now you can see before I was in the EC2 iPhone user, right? And now I am switched to root user. Okay, it means admin user simply. If we compare with our Windows, okay, that's it. So now we have something called package managers in the Linux servers, guys. Okay, we have something called package managers. Package manager is nothing but simply using that package manager, we can install, we can manage any kind of applications or softwares inside that server. Okay, for Red Hat, the package manager is yum. yum. Okay, so yum update. So before installing anything, we should update the existing drivers in the system. So that's why we are using this command yum space update. Just enter. That's it. So as it's a very new system, there is no something. I mean, there is nothing to upgrade actually. That's why it's saying nothing to do and complete. Okay. So now it's a time to install the web service. It's a time to install the web service. Again, the package manager yum, right? Yum is a simply remember it as package manager for the Red Hat flavors Linux. Okay. Yum space install. We need to install. So that's why install space. What we want to install? We want to install HTTPD, right? We want to install HTTPD. Yum install HTTPD. Just enter it. So it is going to install the HTTPD service for us. So here it is asking, is this okay? Yes or no? You can simply give Y and enter. It means you said yes to install. That's it. So it is installing required service. So it's a completed. So install. You can see here what is installed. Installed. Installation completed. HTTPD installation completed. Now we have installed the service. We have installed the service. So we should how we can check the status. Is it running or it is in stopped mode? How we should check the status? There is a one command called systemctl systemctl, which is a command to manage the services, okay, in the Linux systems. Okay, systemctl status status, and which service we install? HTTPD, right? Just select HTTPD. Just select HTTPD. Okay, even you can give HTTPD dot service like this also. Okay, yeah, systemctl status HTTPD dot service. So to check the status, okay, we installed it. Is it active or inactive? So you can see here, once we executed this command, the active status, what it's saying, inactive. So just we installed it, but we haven't started it. It is an inactive status. It is not running. So the same command systemctl HTTPD is there at status. So instead of status, let's do a start. Systemctl start http.service. So we want to start the service. Just enter. Now check the status again. You can see the active. It's in active and running status now. Okay. Okay. Now the HTTP server or the web service is up and running in our server. Okay. And you can see here server configured and listening on port number 80. Just remember it. It is listening on port 80. Port 80. As I mentioned, everything in the network should be, I mean, will followed on some protocol and port. Okay. So now our web service is listening on port 80. Using that port, we can connect this. Okay. After that, we should execute one more command. Same systemctl enable HTTPD service. Okay, so systemctl enable HTTPD service. Okay, install it, start it, enable it. That's it. Now we are done. So we should be able to see the output now. Okay, we haven't given any code, application code, we haven't given anything. But what I'm saying is, whenever we deploy some kind of web server, definitely there should be some output. So let us even give the file also. So now what I'm saying, we deployed the, I mean, we installed the web service. Apache web service or HTTP web service we installed in our server. So we are done with server setup. We are done with web service setup. So now we need to give our code, application code. Who will write? As a developer will write that code, right? So in this web service, so even in the real time also, the default location of the web service is /var/www/html. This is the default location of the web service, guys. Remember it. So we all know that for web applications we use the file called index.html, right? So that file, that application code, we should place inside this location. Okay, so I am moving to that location. Cd is a command which is used to move in between the folders. Okay, in between the directories. Okay, cd space /var/www/html. Okay, just enter. Okay, now you can see we are inside the HTML folder. Okay, we are we are inside the HTML folder. So as I mentioned, we should place our index.html file here. Okay, for that, what you can do, just, 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 give a echo, this command, echo command, echo, okay, and double quotes, echo, double quotes inside this. I mean, whatever the code you want to use. As for example, I'm just giving one line of code here, but in the real time, if you have any kind of code, you can give here. Okay, so echo, echo. I'm giving something like welcome to AWS workshop. Welcome to AWS workshop. Okay, just I want to save it to this location. So just give index.html, index.html. Okay, what I'm doing here using the echo command, using echo command directly we can write the file like this. Okay, we can write the content into the file like this. Okay, echo welcome to AWS workshop index.html. So what I'm doing here now, to the index.html file, I am writing this content simply. Okay, just click enter. Now just do ls. Ls is to list the files. Okay, yes, we have the index.html file here. Okay, so what I'm saying, we have the content welcome to AWS workshop inside this index.html. Okay, and we should get the output on the browser, right? So let us go to server, and here what I mentioned, using this public address, using this public address, public IP4 address, we can see the output in the browser. Let us try that. I have entered that IP address. Okay, sorry, it is taking so much time, means we are unable to see, maybe, right? Let's enter here. Yeah, it can't reach this page. Why it is unable to reach that page? Because if you see the security group of our EC2 instance, just go to EC2 instance security, and it is loading. Yeah, this is a security group, right? Just click on it, it will open here. Here you can see what I mentioned to you. Security group will act as a firewall to the EC2 server, right? And if you want to allow any kind of incoming traffic to the server, that should be added, that protocol or that port should be added in the inbound rule, right? If you check the security group inbound rule, here below you have inbound rules, right? If you check this inbound rule, only 22 and SH port was enabled here, right? But if you remember, when we started our HTTPD service inside our server, what it shown, it is running on, it is listening on port EIT. So that also should be added here. That also should be added here. Okay, that also should be added here. So simply, if you have any kind of server like this, let's say this is a EC2 server. Okay, okay, on top of this, on front of this, what will be there? Security group will be there every time. Okay, on front of this, security group will be there like this. Okay, security group will be there. Okay, if anyone wants to access from here, let's say he is trying to access this E2 server, he should pass through this security group. Okay, let's say this is a one server, so this server is going to have one IP address, right, as it is in the network. So in the security group, we should mention from which port or from which protocol it is coming and which IP it is coming. So that should we should mention in the this security group inbound rule. Then only it will allow this particular server to connect to this EC2 server. In the same way, now we are trying to access the HTTP website from the server, right? So we should enable that in the inbound rules. Just click on edit inbound rules, and here we can add the rule. So SH is for connecting to the Linux server, so that's why we enable it, and it will work on the port 22. So it should be there. And now we want to add the HTTP. So you can see here HTTP. Okay, HTTP, and it runs on port number EIT. That's why by default it is taken. And the source means from where you want to connect. So if you give 00 means from anywhere in the world, anywhere in the network, you can connect to this website, you can connect to this server. If you want to particularly access this from any of the IP range, any of the particular network, you can give that IP range, and you can give the particular IP address. But for now, I want to access from all over the world, so that's why 00 I'm selecting. Just click on save rules. So with this configuration change, so now we allowed the http traffic inside the EC2 server. And if you see the outbound, it's always allows all the traffic. Means everything, I mean, EC2 servers also may want to connect to the outside world, right? So that's why we're enabling every traffic. So you can, I mean, EC2 server can get any kind of traffic, go out and it can search for any kind of information out. Okay. So this, that means in the security group by default, all the incoming traffic is disabled. By default, all the incoming traffic is disabled. We want to enable it. We want to add the ports, whatever we want. And by default, all the outgoing traffic is enabled. All the outgoing traffic is enabled by default. All the incoming traffic is disabled by default. Okay. Yeah. So now we added the port number IT. Let us now check whether, yes, it's already there. We got the output already. Okay. Before it was can't reach the page, right? But now we are able to get the output. You can see here, welcome to AWS Workshop. On the browser, we are able to see the output, right? Let us see to change the content. So this is the page, right? So inside the index.html, we have given welcomes to AWS Workshop. That's why we're able to see that output. Let us now change it. Let us now change it. Something like welcome to innovate with AWS Workshop. Like this, I'm giving, okay, index.html. Okay, so now we changed the content. Let us refresh and see. So till now it is welcome to AWS Workshop. Let us refresh. See, it is changed. So it means simply it's a HTML code. It's your web application. If you are a real developer, you can put your code here and you can check that if you want. Okay, and there is another method to open the file. Okay, not like this. This is a directly, I mean, if you have the single line of code, you can give like this, but you want multiple lines of code, how you can do? So we can use VI, visual index. Okay, how we have the editor side. This is a visual editor. Okay, in the Linux. So VI space the file name index dot, which one you want to edit, you should give that file name VI space index.html, enter. So it will open like this. Okay, just press I, press I on your keyboard, press I in your keyboard, and it will allow you to enter the command. So mouse won't work here, so you should only keyboard. So just come here and remove all this just using the backspace. So now what I want to write is usually you should have the HTML code here, right? Something like this you will write the code, right? So H1 like this you will write the code. Welcome to sample deployment of web application. So something like this you will write the code. Okay, if you want to save now, what you can do, just press escape in your keyboard, press escape, escape, and colon, colon. Okay, colon. Okay, if you see here, I entered the colon here. Okay, till now it was not there. In the down here, colon I'm giving using the shift and that beside the button to L, right? So colon I have given and just enter WQ. It means you are saving the file now. You are saving the content now. Okay, just enter. That's it. Now let us verify. So before it was welcome to innovate with AWS Workshop. Just refresh it. See, welcome to sample deployment of web application. Okay. If you have any kind of index.html file also, you can give that content as well. Let me see if I have any kind of index.html file in my account, in my location. Let me see that static website. Maybe I have something. Even I don't know for which project or which workshop I have created this. Okay. Actually, I don't know for which purpose I created this file. Okay. Let us try. So this is one of the HTML code, right? Let me copy entirely sample HTML code. I'm going this folder, just simple index.vi space index.html, right? VI. Okay. So now I want to copy this content here. So just I, after I, let's remove all this. and paste that content here. So I'm putting all my code here, all my HTML code here. Okay, okay, fine. So let's save us. So to save, just press escape and colon, right? Escape colon WQ, enter. That's it. Now let us see what it is giving the output. Refresh. See, this was the code actually inside my index.html file. So this is the output I'm getting now. Okay, this is how we will deploy the web servers, web application in the EC2 server. Okay, so with this we are successfully able to saw the output, right? So with this we are done with the how to deploy website condition also. Okay, okay, this is one kind of project, guys. Okay, so now what you have done, you clearly created your own network and you launch the server, you even deployed the web application also. So with this we are done with the activity whatever we demonstrated in the starting. We are successfully able to deploy the application in the EC2 server and we are able to see the output also. Done. Yeah, so thanks for joining the session and we'll meet you in the next lecture. And before maybe going out of the call, right? So let me reiterate. So whenever after the practical, so now I am done with all this activity, right? So I should remove the services. I should remove the services. If I want to continue with any kind of activities, that's fine. If not, we are done with the practical. We should delete all the resources we have created. So part of this, we have the list, right? We have created all this VPC subnet root table, right? Internet gateway, everything, right? And the server. So we should delete all the resources without fail because we are using free tier, right? There may be some limit. That's why. So that's why better whenever you're practicing anything, right? Just note down like this in the document, just note down what all the resources you are creating. Because once after the practical computer, you may not remember everything, what all you created. So that's why whenever you're creating any resource, write down like this. So you created VPC, you created subnet, you created root table, and you created server. Like this, just write down it. Then after the practical, you can remove all of that without fail. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Thanks for joining the session. Hope you enjoyed the session. And practice, hands-on practice is always important to learn AWS. Okay. Yeah. Let's meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.